Before we talk about how to make any price feel like a bargain using anchoring, grab my digital product sales system because it's the exact framework I use to make $500 offers feel irresistible. The link is below, and I also pinned it in the comment section so you can get it today. So let's talk about how anchoring is one of the simplest, most powerful pricing strategies and how most people skip it. So the idea is simple. Before you reveal your actual price, you show the buyer a higher comparison. So that might be the cost of doing it themselves, what competitors charge, or the value of the transformation in their life. So once they've anchored to that higher number, your real price instantly feels smaller, even if it's premium. So anchoring isn't manipulation, it's giving context because without it, even a fair price can feel expensive. But with it, a premium price can feel like a deal. So pricing isn't logical, it's psychological. And people don't evaluate a price in isolation. They compare it to what came before it, what surrounds it, or what they expected it to be. So that comparison is the anchor. And if you set the wrong anchor or no anchor at all, you lose control of how your offer feels. So the number itself doesn't change, but the way it land does. So anchoring gives you the power to shift that perception and make your price feel like it's a steal, even if it's higher than what they plan to spend. Now, anchoring works because of how the brain processes value. Instead of deciding whether a price is good, people decide whether it's better or worse than what they expected. So when you present a $200 product without context, it might feel expensive. But if you first show them something that's similar for $600 and then reveal your $200 option, that same number now feels affordable. So the offer didn't change, but the feeling did. And that feeling is what drives the sale. So you've seen anchoring at work 1,000 times. So it's the menu at the steakhouse with the $97 tomahawk at the top, making the $38 ribeye seem reasonable. It's the clothing store that puts the $300 coat next to a rack of $600 jackets so it feels like a smart buy. It's the software company that shows you a $399 a month plan first, even though they know most people will go with their $99 tier. So they're not trying to sell the highest price, they're using it to reframe the lower price so it feels better by comparison. So that's the secret of that about anchoring, because anchoring isn't about what people will pay, it's about what makes them want to pay. So when you're selling your own offer, the easiest way to set a strong anchor is to start high on purpose. Lead with the most premium version of your offer, even if most buyers will never choose it. So, for example, if you sell your course, offer a $997 VIP tier with one on one support, bonus templates, and done with you calls. Then position your $197 self paced version right next to it. Suddenly, $197 doesn't feel like a splurge. It feels smart. It feels like a savings, not because you discounted anything, but because you gave the brain a high number to compare it to first. So think about The last time you bought something, did they use anchoring on you? I want you to share in the comments because I'd love to hear the examples that you have in your experiences. Because done right, anchoring works in every niche and with every offer type. And so the key is to always anchor before you reveal your price, never after. Okay. So anchoring also works through packaging. If you sell your main product alone, the price feels like a big deal. But if you list out the components, each with their own perceived value, and then show the bundle price, it feels like a deal. So that's because people instinctively tally up the separate values, even if they don't do the math out loud. So they're doing it in their heads. So you might have the course is $190, $199 template pack, or a template pack could be $49. The coaching call $250. So when you then offer the full package for $297, it feels like they're getting more than they're paying for. That's anchoring through stacking. So you anchor the value high, then you drop the real price in at a number that feels like a win. So another powerful version is reverse anchoring. And that's when you name it what it would cost, what it would cost them not to buy. So the opportunity cost, and this works especially well for offers that save time, simplify a process, or help people earn more. So for example, if you're selling a funnel template, anchor it by stating most people spend 10 to 20 hours trying to figure this out, or $1,500 plus hiring someone to build it for them. This template gets it done in under an hour for $97. Now, 97 feels like a no brainer, not because of what it includes, but because of what it replaces. So you can even anchor against mistakes. Let the buyer know what the cost of doing it wrong looks like. So if your offer helps someone improve their email deliverability, anchor it by explaining what poor open rates are costing them. So if your list is 2,000 people and your open rate drops from 30% to 15%, you're losing 300 potential readers every time you hit send. So that's leads, that's sales, that's growth. And this training shows you how to fix that fast for less than the price of one lost sale. So you're anchoring against invisible losses. And suddenly, the price you're asking feels tiny, because anchoring isn't about tricking people. It's about giving them the mental framing they need to see the real value. And without it, even a fair price can feel out of reach. But with it, even a premium price can feel like a steal. But anchoring only works if you control the first number they see. So the first number is sticky. It becomes the mental reference point. If you start low and try to sell up, you're fighting uphill. It's going to be an uphill battle. But if you start high and then present the real offer, you're guiding them down into comfort. And another way to use anchoring is through contrast in tiers. So create 3 versions of your offer. So you may have basic, standard, and premium. Make the middle option the one you want to sell most. So price the basic option just low enough to feel like a compromise, and the premium high enough to feel luxurious. So suddenly the middle option looks safe, smart, and value packed. So it's called the Goldilocks Effect. And it's anchored pricing at its best. So you're not just offering choices, you're influencing the decision by setting up the comparison. So you can also anchor with time. So show how long something usually takes and how much faster your offer makes it. Most people spend 3 to 6 months figuring this out. Our framework walks you through it in 14 days. Now your offer isn't just faster, it's worth more because time is value. And anything that compresses time can be priced higher as long as the result stays intact. So the trick with anchoring is that you have to make the comparison feel real. If you inflate values or pull numbers out of thin air, people will feel it. And anchors work because they feel grounded, they feel natural. So you're not saying, this $47 ebook is worth $1,000. No, that doesn't land. But you can say, this $47 system took me 5 years and $12,000 in trial and error to figure out. Now the anchor is believable and the price feels generous. So you can even use anchoring in your guarantee depending on what you're selling. So instead of a basic, $30, 30-day money back guarantee, if you put that kind of line in there, anchor the guarantee to the buyer's confidence. So if you don't feel this offer delivered 10x the value you paid, we don't want your money. So you can do something like that. So you're not just reducing risk, you're anchoring the expected outcome. Now their brain isn't asking, will this work? It's asking, will it be at least 10x better than what I paid? Okay, that reframes the entire decision. Also, anchoring strengthens repeat sales. So when someone buys a $997 program from you, the next time you offer something for $297, it feels cheap. Not because $297 is small, but because the buyer already has a mental anchor from their last purchase. So if you start with a $27 product, and then you try to sell a $297 course, that feels like a leap. But if you start high, everything after that feels more accessible. You're anchoring your future sales by how you position your very first one. So none of this works if your offer is unclear. Anchoring won't fix a product that's confusing, weak, or scattered. But if your offer is strong and your pitch is tight, anchoring multiplies your power. It gives the buyer something solid to push against. And when you guide that resistance in the right direction, the price they once doubted becomes the one they're excited to pay. Anchoring is invisible when it's done right, and the buyer never notices it's even happening. So they just feel like they're getting a deal. They feel like they're in control. They feel smart. And that's what moves them from browsing to buying, not just the price, but the feeling of the price. So the perception, the contrast, the context, that's what anchoring gives you. And once you start using it, you'll never look at pricing the same way again. So if you want to build offers where anchoring works effortlessly, grab my digital product sales system. The link is below in the description, if I can get it out. And then I also put it in the comments section so that you can get it today. And don't forget to subscribe so you can catch all of my upcoming sales psychology strategies. And remember, be a legend.